Welcome to episode 125 of the Better With Running podcast. My name is Chris Armstrong, and tonight I'm joined by my co-host, as always, Mr. Zacca Newman. How's things, mate? What have you been up to?
I'm going well, Mr. Chris Armstrong. Good to catch up again and chat all things running. Yeah, excited to I know there's been a little bit going on with you with a session and the body in a little bit of a spot of bother, and you're trying to work through that. So it's going to be good to unpack that, I think. And we've also got our man on, James Telford, for Physio Life, Physio Chat. We've got to come up with a better name for that, haven't we?
Well, he is the handler of the people's knees, so no, that's why he'll come on. He's got a segment lined up for us. Good to go. I believe talking a bit around the Achilles tonight.
It's and he'll go into it because he's got a bit of experience at the moment with it. So we're going to unpack the Achilles and chat through. It's obviously something that Have you actually had any issues with your Achilles over your running?
Oh, I've had niggles and probably nothing too bad in a sense. I've been pretty fortunate that nothing that sort of caused me to miss any time, but probably went through a stage maybe this has been nearly 10 years ago, I think, where I just had a lot of calf tightness, which was pulling on the Achilles. But that was sort of when I first started to get into doing some strength work, and that's funnily enough, that's what fixed it. Obviously, I'll let James go into a fair bit more detail than that, but in terms of, I've had few other niggles in my time, but fortunately that hasn't been a bad one for me, mate. What about yourself?
It was a bane of my existence for a while there, and off the back of Steigen, I came off a track season or a build up in a track 10k, and Achilles didn't respond well. It just lingered around and ended up put me really in a bit of strife for a good few months, but fortunately got to the bottom of it. But the pesky things, they can just hang around, and frustrating. It's a really frustrating injury, and I think listeners will probably be nodding along if they've either been through an Achilles or going through them right at the moment.
So hopefully we'll be able to pass on some wisdom there. And I believe, mate, you've been doing some digging, a bit of research. You may have found another world record, maybe an unofficial world record.
Like I said, the algorithm on my my social feeds and it's fried. The sort of things that get thrown my way now, and this one's little. I don't think we've included a duo like this, so this is a good one. I reckon listeners will enjoy this, and they could. Don't know if we'll start a bit of a. I don't know. We may start a bit of a trend where people will try and have a crack at this one. Although it's you got to be rolling pretty fast, but you might have a crack at seeing what a PB you could get.
No, that's it. Well, definitely something to aim for. I look forward to chatting about that later. We've got a bit of around the grounds, and also our Run to PB Hero of the Week makes a return as well, mate.
It does, mate. There was a fair bit going on, New Year, and you think, obviously leading into Christmas, we had the wellness run, and then you have a bit down period, and it's a good time to recharge and hang out with family and friends. But there was people kind of rolling through with a couple of races in that first week of the year, and we had some pretty good results, and some people lining up for Parkruns on left, right, and centre, wasn't it?
Mate, Parkrun's been huge to start the year off, but Cadbury Marathon Festival in Tassie, Parkrun. There's a track race down in Geelong. Track's not mucking around; it's back. I think we've got national. Not that we've got. I suppose we do have a bit of involvement, Run to PB involvement with the national champ cross country world champs qualifiers this weekend, mate.
Our man Andy will be flying the flag.
Jimmy Hansen,
as they both have a crack at getting on getting an Aussie vest, and then obviously potentially, look, it's very exciting. I mean, regardless of how it goes in this trial, I reckon they'll both line up and have a crack at that golden ticket as well.
Yeah. Oh, mate, can't wait to see what happens there. And obviously, Akana's still running as well, mate. She's nearing the 150 mark.
She's still plugging away. Yeah, probably just get like. Think about the night before a marathon, how you're just getting yourself up or you're trying to sleep. It's like you've done 145 nights where you're sleeping, going, I'm getting up and running a marathon. Like every night you're going to bed thinking, oh, just gonna roll out another 42k.
What are you up to tomorrow? Believe it or not.
Ready. Some real momentum. We'll have some details later about where you can catch her in the final stages in Victoria, and as she heads to the tan for that penultimate lap.
With some running up Anderson Street.
Yeah, well, that's the way to do it.
I've always maintained that, mate.
Oh, hang on, yeah. No, I mean, in a setting like this, yes, a training run. She's still legitimately going for a record, so go up it when you're going for records. You got me there. You got me.
No, that's okay. That's an early point for me in 2023.
We'll have to happy.
Yeah, no, we'll let Soph know about that. I mean, it's built between that and maybe building some momentum for half marathon in Albert Park. We'll keep chipping away.
Well, yeah, we'll get to that when we recap my sessions. But how about you, mate? As I said at the top of the show, you had a workout, but the body's a little bit of trouble. Yeah,
it's a bit dinged up at the moment. Nothing. Well, I don't think it's anything bad. It's just annoying more than anything. Just through my hips and even like bits through my adductors, just things just feel tight and can't sort of really loosen off and get going. But fortunately had some myo treatment over the last week and just I wouldn't say taking things super easy, but just jogging. Tried to do the session last Thursday, ended up being it was 10 minutes threshold into 5 by 1 minute on, 1 minute off, sort of aiming to run about 5k effort for those minute ons, and then back into a 10 minute threshold just to finish off. But those sessions where you warm up and think, today could be all right. We'll see how things go. And you're about 5 or 6 minutes into it and thinking, no, this is shit. It just doesn't. Things just don't seem to be flowing.
Yeah, so even in the warm up, you didn't actually feel too junky. You just thought, I'm tired, but I should be okay.
Yeah, I probably don't ever do a warm up and roll strides that often where I think, wow, today's going to be amazing. So
yeah, true.
I just sort of thought, well, it's 5:45 in the morning, and it's early, it's still pretty warm. Like, yeah, let's just get going. I wasn't too concerned. I mean, it's 10 minutes of threshold to start off with. It's not something that's going to beat me up too much by design. I didn't feel too bad. I mean, I was hoping that I might be able to run in the sort of low 340s for the threshold, but sort of got through that first 10 minutes and it was around 350, 351, and I thought,
it's disheartening when it doesn't come out.
No.
When you feel like I shouldn't be working this hard, and oh no, I look at the pace. Do you look at the pace? Are you going through it?
No,
or you just felt you were off pace.
I guess I just run to the effort, and when I've got my watch set, so it'll still beep every K, and I just have a bit of a glance at it and I looked at it and went, yeah, okay, and it beeps in the same spot where it normally does.
Yeah,
it was quite funny, and I should have cottoned on early that I probably wasn't traveling as well as I hoped, because Anna was doing 8x400 with a 200 float into a 10-minute threshold, and the first 400 set, Anna just got out the blocks and she belted me. And I mean, literally, she would have knocked that first one over sort of high 330s. Like it was really flying along.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until she got into the 200 float that I caught her. And I sort of, we've got her on our little loop. about 300 meters out from where we start, there's always this white car. And funnily enough, the white car wasn't there this time. So Anna was having a giggle like, no, there was no white car. I didn't know when to slow down. But no, she flew out, and I thought, all right, cool. Well, I'll just tick along. And lo and behold, she finished that 200-meter float, and then she passed me again in a second 400. So I was like, oh, either she's really on and having an amazing day, or perhaps I'm not going so well. And it was a bit of both, actually, because she got through her first K 200 float in about 3:48, and I was 2 seconds behind her, and I'd sort of done threshold the whole way. So she was having an awesome day. But got through that first 10 minutes freshie, and then into the 5 by 1 minute. So I was sort of hoping I'd be able to get into that sort of 5K effort. And I felt like I was working at 5K effort, but rather than sort of I was hoping maybe sort of mid 520, 320s, and it was mid 330s. Anyway, we sort of just chipped away, and then same thing. I thought, oh, maybe in the second lot of 10 minutes threshold, because I'm going back in pace, it'll just feel easier. We haven't done some faster work, and just sort of relaxed a little bit, and the pace was no different to the first 10 minutes. So
does it feel mechanical, like you can't
just stiff, like you've mentioned on previous chats where your turning circle feels a bit average, and I just didn't have any sort of push or or any drive, sort of lateral. But so then I was trying everything. Like, I was making sure I was really getting up through that midfoot up onto the toes, and the form was really good. But I don't know, I was just off. So didn't have a great day. I didn't think end up for the session, and then end up being around sort of 8K in around 32 minutes. So
do you think the transition back, you had a few, I mean, you worked through most of it, but being back at work, maybe, I mean, you sitting down all most of the day, or standing?
No, sit. I'm pretty much chained to a desk for most of the day. So more sitting, but I also started doing some heavier weights at home, and I guess probably the extra time at home and being a bit bored, where you're doing probably a little bit more weights to fill in some time, and then sitting in between that, throughout the rest of the time. I wouldn't be surprised if I've just overloaded my body a little bit, and it just needs a little bit of settling time. So I'm hopeful that's all it is. But I suppose you just got to respect that the body's not quite as young as it used to be, and I just want to make sure that whilst it's a niggle at the moment, I just don't want really to develop into anything. So get it under control. But no, look, tick that one off, and look, still went and did the long run. I haven't missed any running. Like, still went out and did our long run together on Saturday. So the plan was, like, for me, it was an hour 40, and I said to Anna, look, just knock the first half over, really easy. And if you're feeling good, sort of, because normally we do sort of 450s. So if you're feeling good, we can run that second half in the 440s, and just tick along. And it was a perfect morning, mate. I think it was like 14 degrees, not a breath of wind, sun below the tree line. So it just meant that no direct heat, because it was going to be pretty bloody hot on Saturday up here. And like, things just clipped along. I think by the time that we'd finished running the 3K, this 3K, I'm pretty sure that was in the 440s already. And
I'm just looking at the splits. You got rolling.
And it's gone, oh, hang on, we might need to drop this back because we haven't got really too much room to move if we keep running. But funnily enough, pretty much through 4Ks through to 10Ks was all in the high 440s. And then we actually saw Chris Nicholson, another one of my athletes, as we were running through the boat hand. So I had a quick chat to him for a couple of minutes before the second half of the run started. And then Anna just took off. Just pretty much play hang on for a little while, but she honestly just cruised along really effortlessly, ran to the high 430s, mid 430s, and look, towards probably the last 5 or 10 minutes there was a bit of fatigue building up. But it was just, and that felt really good, the long run. We're having a ball, laughing at our own jokes and all that sort of thing, thinking we're hilarious. But as we do. But no, that was really good. And then Sunday, probably felt better than I did probably the previous Sunday from being a bit jammed up. But yeah, it's just been easy jogging all this week. Won't do a session tomorrow. Sort of get out for the best part of an hour and sort of jog through the rest of this week, and then hopefully hit up a bit of a track session next week in prep for this 5K race on the track coming up, mate.
Well, I was looking at the fence, the blue bars, and you have been building nicely, and you had a couple of decent weeks. You had Christmas in there, and I think it's probably a good time to have that absorption down week. You get the body to settle and then go again. So it's probably, you probably linked to it, whereas it obviously sounds like things got going again on the long run. So
yeah,
I think that's really positive that you were able to run off the next, run into that one feeling good.
Yeah, actually, and as a this is more just to blow some cobwebs off. We've got our Shep Runners Club handicap coming up on the 29th, mate. We're going to the track. I'm going to run a 1500.
Oh, nice.
So,
I like it.
I'm a bit
so
nervous.
will you get back 29th? So we've got a few weeks. Are you going to get do a few things back in the spikes, or are you going to
I've got
on 15?
It's funny. I've actually just opened Final Surge to have a look at my program, and Andy's updated that today. So thank you, Andy. Next Thursday, he's got me down for a 1600 and then 4x400, followed by another 1600. So that might be a good opportunity to go and throw the spikes on and have a bit of fun. So
handicap.
Yes. So the 1500. I'm in two minds. I'm sort of leaning towards we're going to group everyone and we're just going to have similar ability. There'll be a handicap time to try and beat, but rather than do a staggered start, we'll probably just race everyone off the stick and have maybe 5 or 6 different races. So hopeful that I've got some of my runs PB crew lined up, and I'm just trying to tell them that it's going to hurt. I know it's uncomfortable. It gets hard early, but it's going to make racing 5K and 10K feel so much easier. So
you're going to be cursed a few times in that third lap, I reckon.
Oh,
you've really.
So funny story. About 4 years ago, we did handicap 800s for Runners Club.
Yeah,
and I thought it'd be a good idea because some of the feedback that we got, 800 is not really too far, and it'd be good to maybe have a couple of races and that sort of thing. Okay, well, we could have heats and a final. Well, that lasted one event. The heats, you had to finish in the top 2, and if they were clear out in front, they were okay. But the people that were sort of trying to gas themselves to try and get into second place and sort of finish just outside, that didn't sit too well. And then by the time the final rolled around, because they're not used to doubling up that well, she was pretty sluggish. So, but the old 800s where because we're Parkrunners, mate, we don't typically do anything where the warm up and the cool down is longer than the actual race itself. So there was a lot of people that went out hard and tried to hang on, and there's a lot of people that picked up a piano about 500 meters around and realized that last 200 or 300 meters might as well be 10K because it was absolute agony.
Just climbing that staircase, and it is brutal. It's just nothing, and it comes on quick, and there's no getting it back. And it just it's a hard event. Really hard event.
Having a quick chat to another one of my athletes, Haley, today, and she was saying the last time she remembers doing track was in high school, and she was amazed that even her arms hurt for track. They went.
Oh, it happens.
That can happen. So no, we'll have some interesting stories to tell in a bit under 3 weeks. But hopefully that'll be a good one to clear a bit of rust.
And there was a photo circulating on socials. May have been post-record. I don't know. Yeah, it must have been after we recorded last week, where you were sporting the business suit out at the out at the training.
Very
sure. But
yeah, no, look, mate, when you've got to training at 6 and write contracts at 8, you've got to be dressed for both. So
yeah,
no, it's
very official. I thought
yeah.
it was yeah, sort of the almost going down the route of the AFL coaches when they go and have the. I see a bunch of logos embroidered down on the shirt, on the collar. You run the PB logo on there, and all your Gooder and Baker's Delight and all these other sponsors.
No, when we go sponsors, we go for the top shelf. So we reach out to big organisations like Baker's Delight and Gooder and you know, the sort of Boost Juice, Cliff Bars, like you name it. Yeah, we're asking the questions. So
yeah, look,
no,
official.
There was I should I don't really ever aim to plug work, but for those, just to paint a little bit of context, I work at NAB, which is where Sinead Diver works, although I don't get to chat to Sinead. I just thought I'd name drop Sinead in there. But no, so I was dressed in my work attire, and because it was stinking hot and I was a little bit lazy, I didn't pack any clothes to get changed into. So I put a hat and sunnies in there, like a running hat and some Oakleys too, just try and shield the face a little bit. I thought, no one's going to care. It's not too bad. And it wasn't until around 100 or so photos popped up on the Runners Club Facebook page where I looked at that and thought, I need to go and give myself a good talking to in the mirror and kick my own ass, because there's absolutely no way anyone could take me seriously dressed like that. And it was.
I thought it looked like you were a college coach in the NCAA. I was impressed. I thought, yeah, this guy's taking it serious. He's doing a presser after. He's ready for the.
All I needed was a clipboard and an assistant, and I would have been set. But
whistle.
It was
a big Gatorade shower after the
and what was quite humorous as well was the fact that some of the looks that some of the other runners in attendance were giving me while I was trying to explain training and what was going on sort of indicated that perhaps they were a little bit confused, not by what I was talking about, but how I was actually dressed. But I should say though that I did make every effort to redeem myself last night at training. I took a change of clothes and did go with it. I did have a set of Gooder sunnies on for those good people at Gooder who make a Gooder cheap pair of sunglasses. I might be able to get them another couple of mentions before the end of the show. But
close, mate, to get that deal.
That's fine. And my Run's a PB t-shirt. So
I was very happy seeing that. You're eyeing off that bonus. It's good work.
Yeah, no, just trying to tick the box for the KPIs this year, mate. So yeah. But
I'll play. I might have to dig up that photo. I reckon it's been circulated around, went viral through a lot of group chats. Might have to put that one in the show notes, or maybe in the episode preview.
Maybe we could do a before and after, because we can't just leave the work clothes one. Maybe we could throw one in there with the Run to PB shirt as well, so people. Yeah. I might just be able to win a few points of respect back from the wider running community.
Nice, mate. So how many Ks for the week?
I reckon it's about nearly 70.
That's solid enough.
Let's have a look. Oh, sorry. Yeah, 69 for the week. Nice. So
well done.
Yeah. So and on target for something similar this week. Just having a look through. So, yeah, sort of long runs out to about an hour 40, like 90 minutes this week, but then back out to an hour 40 next week, and then just try and freshen up a little bit. And
Frenzy as well, is that locked in?
Yeah, 5K Frenzy I've entered. I paid my $20. I'm scheduled to be on the start line. So I just hope that I'm sort of moving a lot better so I can get on there and sort of do it a bit of justice. I'll probably run either way, whether I'm a bit jammed up or not. But
same weekend as World Cross.
Or
maybe the week
before. World Cross, is that I reckon that's the 20th or something, but I'll double check that because it could be the 12th and then it would be the same weekend.
Actually, I reckon it's not far off. It might be right. I think it might be the weekend before.
Oh, hang on, no. World Cross at Bathurst.
It's the next weekend. Huh?
Hang
No,
on.
Feb
No, 18th
18.
of Feb. Sorry. No, I was looking at the wrong date. No, it's 18th of Feb. So it's the next weekend.
Yeah, okay.
So
Nice.
you'd still be able to make it to Bendigo, mate, for a shakeout.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, it's just a big weekend of World Athletics. You've got the Chriso in the 5K friendly. You might get the guy get there early and just throw in an entry.
Well, as the
This is a tune-up.
yeah. Well, there is the Melbourne Track Classic on as well coming up. So the boys,
World Cross. So,
the lads will be in town. No doubt that there is some big prize money on offer. I believe Steigen have thrown out $500 worth of socks.
Nice.
At the
you
frenzy.
need more socks, Chriso.
Yeah, look, mate, you cannot have enough socks. You honestly can't. And the fact that I've actually got 2 drawers now, my running socks, means that there's probably a hard discussion that needs to be had at home at some point in terms of storage space. But no. Who knows who we might see at Bendigo, particularly in that A race. It's only a short trip down the highway. I know the Bendigo bats are starting to get up and about. A few signings or re-signings. That there's a lot of media going on.
Still in negotiations, are you, Chriso?
Fair to say that my contract is not a high priority for the bats at the moment, particularly with the amount of young kids coming up through the ranks. So I know there's
you're on the market, is that what you're saying?
Pretty much just negotiating whether it's going to be like a packet of chips or a can of Coke. Really, I mean that's been the max offer, and I'm happy to take that. Really just needing some time with my agent to decide whether we want to go with some extra caffeine or some salt and vinegar chips. So yeah, but in fairness to the bats, the numbers already look pretty impressive to the point where I could very well be not only not running in the Division 7-1 team, I could be in the 2nd or 3rd team. So,
they're going the early crow. It's only January. They need to settle down a bit.
The boys are flying high. So, no, and I tell you what, like, whilst I know that they are taking the piss and having a bit of fun, it's good to see a bit of content. I just reckon there should be more of it. I know not everyone sort of sees it that way, but it's having a bit of fun and it's creating a bit of interest. I was asked last week, like, the AV cross country schedule's out yet? Like, no, not yet. Like, that's still a couple of months. Like, okay, well, shit, I'm just really keen. I just want to know when they are. So
it's one of those things in this sport, isn't it, that we've talked about a lot of times, and probably a space for another discussion, a wider discussion about it. But yeah, just getting these stories and just continuing this content of like getting the running stories out there, so we can just keep it going. I know we see it in the inner sanctum, but in the outer, I was just if we're only just going, oh, this is good, there's something here. Like, imagine what it's like if you don't know anything about the sport. Like, yeah. And sort of the Com Games, like, it's just, I feel like, there's still not enough momentum. It's hard because, they're happy to cover a 2K time trial for Western Bulldogs, and they'll have crew down there and like people, and I get it, the media, the AFL rights are huge, but we just need to somehow just keep ramming it down there that, we have a good, like, we've got so many millions of people that run. We've got to somehow get them interested in what's actually happening in the sport, professional at other levels. And there's a lot of good stories. And look at the trials this weekend. It's like, caliber of athletes going around in these World Cross trials is just phenomenal.
Have you ever seen the depth of like a trials race with that many national representatives being in the one spot at the one time?
Yeah.
Is it like just something? Is there anything that springs to memory for you for the one race? Like, I know, like, if you
there's a few of the guys, and you're actually missing out on a couple of guys in the US who didn't opt to come back or got exemptions. But the depth, this is a world championship event on Australian soil. Like, we just haven't seen this.
This needs to be broadcast live.
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
on
I don't
TV.
know. I wonder how it is going to be broadcast. I haven't. We've actually applied through Inside Running for some we have to do it on online. Well, it's pretty serious, sort of, to get the accreditation, and they sent an email back saying, "Oh, are you guys looking to cover the event? What are you willing to pay for the rights?" I'm like, "Geez, settle down.
50 bucks.
Yeah, we just want to come and get some more interviews." So yeah, the extent of I suspect through World Athletics, there's actually an agency that I'm dealing with that is actually that does all the media. So that's a subsidiary of World Athletics. So it will be broadcast through your BBCs and all that, but I don't know where it will go through in Australia. And, you've got KO. Sometimes you see KO. You've got the hockey from some random league in South Australia, Division 2, and they've got a film crew and they're broadcasting. I think Ultimate Frisbee was on the other day. I was like,
mate, I don't know about your KO viewing habits, but I can tell you now that KO, ESPN, Channel Ocho, mate, you can get everything you can possibly imagine. I've watched rock skimming championships, not for very long, I might add, but it's there. So if I can watch hillbillies flip rocks across a lake, in America, then surely to God, I can get some footage of the best athletes in our country getting around to qualify for the World Championships for cross country on one of the most popular cross country courses in Stromlo.
It would have been great if let's say, who's got the rights, Channel 7 or Channel 9, whoever's got the rights for the Com Games or the or Paris, use this as a vehicle to, keep some momentum going. And look, they probably potentially they run the numbers and they go, well, how many people are actually going to do it? But it just feels like it's a fair thing to do. Is you're going to get this momentum, you've got to keep them connected. There's so many big names out there Anyway, it's always a topic of a lot of people's long runs around the country when you talk to runners and they just shake their head as to how can we not get any more coverage. And
let's say it was Channel 7 and it's it's on Sunday morning. I mean, put it on 7, mate. What are you not being able to watch?
Some fishing show or something. That's another RBT or something.
Like you can run American Pickers in the evening. It's fine. There's lots of different. Anyway, I'll get all worked up, mate.
I know they are doing a stream. The Athletics Australia are doing a stream apparently via YouTube. So it's almost the way it's going, isn't it? Mass media, and it's just niched down into, and then it ends up being the people that are actually into the sport, not the people that are maybe going, oh wow, I remember watching Ollie at the or Stewie at Comms. Oh wow, what's he doing?
Oh, that's Jess Stenson. She won the gold medal at the Commonwealth Games. Jeez, she's in a good field.
Yeah,
what's going on here? Chris,
I just seen hit your head against the wall, mate. So we'll edit that out.
Thanks. It'll be a bit dusty for the next half an hour.
Nice, mate.
Now, tell us about your week, mate. You had a threshold
I'll whisk through a couple of my workouts because we've got James popping in shortly, but bring it up. What do we have? We spoke last week about the Tuesday session.
Did you head back out to Albert Park?
I was back out at Albert Park, yeah. Back on the old Soak's home ground. And 25, actually we had a 25-minute threshold. So we hadn't done an extended, or we'd done sort of a broken threshold probably 4 weeks ago. I think we did like a couple of 8-minute efforts and then that. But the thing is, we've Al's sort of set in that we're in week 2 of having 2 sessions a week. And I guess the session on the Tuesday is typically a bit shorter and a bit snappier. And when we're trying to get this base up and trying to get some work in at that, half marathon to, even down to 10K towards the end in those Saturday sessions. And extended threshold is we just felt like we needed to, get a bit more in the legs and the back end of it. I think it's a lot easier when you just have those breaks, even if it's a minute, it is that reset. Whereas if you're like, okay, we've got to go through this roller coaster of, emotions, physical feeling you can get in a 25-minute session and trying to be controlled. But like, I actually felt flat in the warm up and all the legs were, and, as you said earlier, you don't always feel great, but you can feel something a little bit different. I thought, oh geez, I just gotta work into it. I was more on my stomach. I just didn't feel like I maybe feel well the night before. It felt a bit bloated, or just didn't have energy. I don't know. It was weird. And so you're kind of trying to work your way out of that in the stride, and just trying to think, okay, things will be cool. I'll get going. And seriously, we started, and Al and I were like, we'll just work into it. We'll try and get out at 3:30s, and then if we're feeling good in the last, just push it down to 25s, even 20s if you can. But it's control, but not all out. And got out, and Al was sort of just right on the pace, and I felt like I was having to work to get on, like work to hold him. And I thought, is this going to be a long? It's going to be a long grind. And even 5 minutes in, I'm thinking, geez, should I sort of, because we go out and there's a loop back, sort of run back towards ourselves. And I started to even think, should I actually stop here? Like I can't remember the last session I pulled out. So I'm just trying to get through it, going and scanning the body and thinking, I actually scanned my body and then said to myself, is it physical or mental? And it was more, and I'd been running with this sort of empty, weird sort of stomach feeling where I just felt like I was really working, and the legs were still fine. Knees felt great, and it wasn't getting any worse. That's what I just said to myself. As I got through that 10 minutes, I was like, well, look, it's probably mentally now more than physical, because it's, I'm holding my own, and maybe it's just a rough patch and I can get through this. I thought, I'll just get up a bit further and then reassess. And I started to think about, I actually did come into my head, what we were chatting about, the Sisu stuff, where it was sort of about like, and I thought, why don't just for the next 5 minutes, try and just pick it up a bit and just run towards the pain a little bit. And I actually did pick it up and thought, and it did change. Like I actually, I started to push away from Al, like Al would sort of just drifted off the back, and then I actually felt better for it. I think it took the focus off, like, unless when you're in a rut and you're just in that negative chain, I was like, okay, just gonna push, and then sort of cutting deal with myself as I get up to this corner, and then from there, because I don't know about you, you do courses and you just know where certain points are. And at this point, I was like, okay, I'm feeling pretty comfortable now. Like I'm working, but it's in control. And then I said, okay, I'll get sort of eyed off a point where I'm like, okay, I'm not going to look at my watch till then. I'm just going to feel like I knew I'd picked it up and I was running at a good, solid effort. And I was thinking, okay, if I get to this section, it'll probably be another 5 minutes from there, because we'd sort of mapped out the course in advance, thinking, we'll get pretty close back to where we warmed up. So got to that point, and then I look at my watch and it was like, I've only got a minute and a half to go. And perfect, I'll get there. And it's just, it was just a bit of a relief, because I thought, if I got there and I had to still keep going and grind, I might have put myself in a hole. And I think this 20 minutes can get to, and I'm just not strong enough yet to get to that 25 out there. And I think, these ones, you need a couple. I reckon I remember doing thresholds, and we did a lot we'd go 3 months on Saturdays, and you do a Wattle Park, or you're doing a 25 to 30 minute threshold every week. And you just get stronger and stronger at them, but it could take you 4 or 5. Whereas if you just switch into one and expect it, you'll feel really good on it. So it was good. It was good to probably go through that. And I was actually really proud of myself, because I thought, this is, I'm feeling uncomfortable, but I'm having to work my way through it. And I think in the sessions I've done, I've had the breaks, I've been able to get away with it.
Yeah.
And yeah, so yeah, you sort of come off that, just kind of look. It wasn't anything special on paper, but it was
Oh no.
done. And
Sometimes the win's just being able to get through it.
Yeah, and not give in, like just fight on. And yeah, like, I was thinking as I'm, I was like, well, what's the worst you do? You just try to slow down. And I was actually thinking, yeah, okay, I'm just control it. But I was sort of already up and going, and it wasn't really going any slower. I was just finishing it off. So yeah, and some days you just, you don't feel like you can feel 80% and get it done. And then, other days you feel 90, and it's just that extra percent you feel great. You can really get going. And it wasn't, I don't know. I think also I've done a lot of thresholds where I've had 3 or 4 people in the group, and then you key off them. When you're keying off one person, that can potentially play into your head as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, got it done. And yeah, big day, like, when you do the warm up, warm down, it becomes a pretty solid day of running. And the next day we had a pretty cruisy Sunday run. So we're rounding out the week of, the second week or first week back of Tuesday, Saturday. And so we only had 90 minutes and had Josh Papo, who we mentioned on the podcast before. He was out we did 90, so a little bit slower than usual, which was kind of nice just to roll it.
Not a bad thing after Saturday, I reckon.
Yeah, so that was I think just under the 100k. What do we get?
Nice.
And that's probably the biggest for quite a while. What was it? 98.4.
Yep.
And then if I look back at, I think before wellness, we've got a 99.2 there.
Yep.
And then everything else, those two sort of big weeks.
Mate, post wellness, you've bounced back really well. Like, you sort of gave the body a little bit of time to recover, and then back into those consistent weeks.
Yeah, and then just I think this adding of an extra session, ditch sharper, get the turnover, because I'm trying to get better at trying to get to the point where I can get down to those 310s, under 310s, and get the speed going, so it feels 330s doesn't feel as laborious as that. And I think that's going to come. It just takes time. It's just trying to be patient with it. And then as you're upping everything else, you're also getting a bit more mileage, a little bit more tired. So it's just it's the beauty of running is you just can't do everything at once. You can't just tick all the boxes. Okay, I want to get a bit quicker, but I want to improve my endurance, and it's like, well, you have to go through all the various steps and sort of build that. It's like a puzzle, isn't it? You've got to put pieces in just slowly, one bit at a time. So that was the end of the week. And then last night, so we're recording on Wednesday, had the Tuesday workout, 10 by 500s. So snappier workout, longer Yarra, and we did off a minute recovery. It was a fun session. I was warming up a little bit tight in the left glute. I think it's just been back, and like I mentioned to you, sitting down again, and just got to get a bit more activated and do a little bit more on the spiky ball and things like that, just to keep. But that was fun. Like goal was to sort of get out 310s, 312s, 315s, and then work down to 310s, 312s, and then there was one I haven't on my Strava because I don't think I've got the laps on it. I just kept watch running, but there was an eventful rep maybe 7, where so you're running along the Yarra, bottom of the Anderson Street, Alexander Parade on the tan side. Relatively well from tan relays and stuff, and you've got just a single lane where you've got a shared bike lane, walking runners, and then summer's night, tennis. Well, I think there's sort of tennis, pre-tennis going on. There's Melbourne's sort of popping off, and you get the e-bikes along there. So you get a fair few tourists on scooters. You get runners, and you're having to concentrate. And we go on at a decent clip, but then the change of pace. So we're doing the 5 and then recovery. And then that one rep, I just ended up on the back of a scooter and just went with it. And,
yeah.
I just sort of got a bit competitive. I was like, I'm going to try and hold it. And we really got roll, and then we finished it. We knew we'd gone out, a lot harder. I just got carried away. And it was also the fact that they were sort of cut, because you're weaving around. So it almost gave us the line, and we just rolled it. And then Al gets there and goes, that was a 1:31. So we held close to 3-minute K for that one.
Wow.
500. And it just gave us a little bit of that, you get into that pace, and you just feel like it felt hard, but it still felt manageable. So that's good.
No, that's what you need on the track, mate. Just someone down there with an e-scooter.
Yeah.
Just tuck in behind.
Yeah, we are going to jump on the track. Like, we did those 4s the other week. Did we do 4s? Yeah, we did those set of 4s probably 3 weeks ago. So Al's keen, probably get out Melbourne Uni, jump on and do some straights and bends, or do a quarter session, just to try and, again, get our legs going so we can, hit a 5K with, go after it. And I think, in the workout like that 500, like, I can get up to speed, it takes me 100 meters to get up to speed. Now I'm holding the 100 through to about 450. And it's like, I can hold that 310-ish pace, and I could almost hold that rhythm almost out to the K. It's just getting up to that pace is the thing.
Just getting there first.
And I'm not a lot of the marathon running, and just the lack of speed and the 40 odd birthdays I've had doesn't allow me to just get out of the blocks with that spring. And I'm also a bit cautious. I don't have that real empathy. And I was working on it, and also it was a lot better out of the blocks, like a bit more aggressive out, and it gets smoother when you're on the track. It does get a bit smoother, and you just need to do more of that, those sort of sharper things.
Yeah. No, good progress, mate. Things are sounding good.
Yeah, in a good spot. Like, bodies, I ran tonight. Knees were a bit sore today, and I think that's just a case of, some days are good, some days aren't. Just nothing out of control, because I still get big K's in, and it's just also got to remember that volume's going up, intensity's going up, and, so no, it's all heading in the right direction. I reckon we'll do a bit of an end of month fitness test. We'll jump in a Parkrun.
Yeah, okay.
See where we're at, and then might have to look at this golden ticket. I reckon that'd be good fun just to jump in that 6K.
Yeah.
I think it'll be. I'm going to be up there, so why not?
Go and have a bit of fun, mate. Run a few hills. Why not?
Yeah. Had a few nightmares with Bathurst off the back of that, I think.
Oh God, spikes or waffles? Or too early to tell you that.
Oh, too early. I reckon the waffles for me. Yeah. I don't think I'd spike up.
Yeah.
Joining us once again back on the Better With Running podcast is James Telford from Physio Life and a Run to PB athlete. Welcome back to the show for another edition of the newly coined term, Physio Life, Physio Chat. Welcome back, mate.
Love the originality. Thanks for having me back, Chriso and Zacca. Always a pleasure.
It's okay, mate. A lot of think tank time went into coming up with that name, and from a short list of one, that was the one that we came up with. So.
Good to have you back on. Yeah, mate, it's good to be back on. And last time we chatted, I reckon you'd just come off the wellness run, the Collingwood Classic wellness run double, which now potentially may not be recommended. But yeah, let us know how you're going, because I think listeners will be interested, because as runners, it's running is a bit of a roller coaster at times, and you're probably maybe on the down at the moment.
Yeah, so that little bit of soreness I had after the wellness run, or from during the wellness run, turned out to be a little bit more soreness, and ended up with a fairly decent Achilles strain. And because I didn't listen to the advice that I would give myself and would have received from many, many other people, to pull out if you're injured, I ended up just with an injury of my tib post on the other leg as well. So all round bit of fun, but it's actually been quite good getting the patient experience. So I've spent plenty of time on the table of all my other physios, pretty much whenever they get a spare spot, thinking I could put the feet up. No, work on yours truly to their detriment. But no, it's been a good experience, and it's been rather humbling, but it's good to, as I said, experience what patients go through when they are injured and trying to return to performance.
And particularly now, because you've obviously got pretty new into into running. You've had a pretty rapid rise, and we've had a big year last year, and now to sort of go through this, it's I think you're probably obviously learning a lot to, with a lot of runners you're treating now. So I think that's a bit of the topic we're going to cover tonight is around the Achilles. Obviously, it's good timing with what you're going with. But how often does this get presented in the clinic?
Very frequently. Spring to early summer is usually when we see the most, and generally a lot of it's running related. But we do get a burst around the start of footy season from all the blokes that are playing twos and were too busy with life to do a pre-season. They're good ones, but there's quite a broad spectrum of what causes Achilles pain and what it's presenting. We get that from anything from people who come in with very specific point tenderness on their Achilles, and they've got a little bit of a mark where their shoes have been rubbing. So you change the shoes, problem solved. But there's that's what we call a bit of an aggravated Achilles. We do also get quite a large spectrum from strains where there is an acute injury to it that thankfully the Achilles didn't go bang, which can happen, all the way to tendonitis or tendinopathy that we're supposed to call it now, where the body is, for lack of going into too deep into it, has just given up on healing it and just leaves you with some pain and weakness instead of function. But the things that I see most commonly, and this comes from runners and non-runners alike, as for causes, overexertion. So that can be an acute one. So where they've just done too much in one effort, and the tendon gets a little nick in it or a little strain, rather than the calf injuring itself. Because with that propulsion motion, and usually that'll happen jumping or trying to take off for a rep, or you can see it when sprints or strides just go a little bit too long. You can have just the aggravation caused by footwear, and that can be footwear rubbing, or it can just be you're wearing your old shoes that you've had for 4 years when you've just decided to get back into running, which can sort of tie into that overuse. And you can have the acute versus chronic overuse, where you get either a sharp increase in running volume or intensity, or it's just you've built up for too long without a little bit of a downtime. In my case, I was actually lucky enough I was going to tie into a little bit of a break anyway. But mine was sort of on reflection, probably a little bit sore into the run, and then it just got worse. And then it just sort of, I felt that sharp moment. So it was sort of that more acute, I might have stepped in a pothole or something along the way and just overstretched it, and led to that little bit of pain, but I was able to sort of hop it through and finish off.
Even the intensity of, say, a track race, if you've got something that's a little bit on the edge, and then can that be a more of an acute thing that happens?
Yeah, absolutely. And that may have predisposed me. I mean, the power of retrospect's amazing. In fact, I should probably play Tats Lotto from last week. But no, in retrospect, the loading up of the track race and then backing up for the half marathon a few days later and probably a little bit higher intensity than what I'd normally do my Sunday runs in different shoes. Again, hot conditions, you can put it all together and it equals where we're at. And I do, and mine's in my left Achilles, and I have seen quite a few actually from people that have been heavy on track sessions in the left Achilles, just from the constant going around the bends. In fact, I don't think I've seen a right Achilles from track running.
Yeah.
Seen a few from basketball, but that's about it. But as I said, experiencing it's been a really, it's been a good experience. It's not the one I wanted to have, but it's good to put myself in the shoes of patients.
And I think for both of us, obviously now chatting just as a coach athlete, just working, taking a step back, and we're both sort of reflecting and going, yeah, we got a touch greedy. We may have could have, both of us could have said, hey, maybe we are stretching it here by trying to do that double. But you take hindsight's, 2020. You do take these little calculated risks throughout running, and sometimes they come off, and sometimes you get away with it. And I know when it happened, you were pretty buoyant that it wasn't too. You can get it under control. It's just the timing around Christmas, and you had the whole year and all the rest. It wasn't a worse thing, but it is a bit of a learning experience, even from a coaching point of view, as to, okay, maybe we needed to have a down week, maybe we needed to just be a little bit more cautious. So yeah, it is a holistic thing when you look at an injury. Yeah,
I mean, that said, I was as much as I'd want to change the fact that I got that little injury, I was happy with the results from the track race, happy with the experience from Wellness Run, especially pacing that 140 group, getting to see people run PBs. And that's where you weigh up, is the injury worth it? And for me, it definitely was. And now we learn, we rebuild, and just be patient with the recovery and reintegration into full running.
So probably speaking of that recovery phase, mate, what's that look like for you over the last few weeks?
So there was about 3.5 weeks off completely. I did a little bit of cross training, just got on the spin bike, the assault bike, the elliptical, which I can't wait to get off. Just give me back my Wednesday long run and bin the elliptical. But it's been
elliptical out the side of the road around your area at some point in the next few weeks.
Yeah, probably police coming after I've ripped it out of the gym as well. But it's also been a lot of strengthening. So changing my daily routines to include my rehab exercises, a lot of calf loading. So taking it through the early phase, literally just holding my heel off the ground a centimetre, waiting for the pain to go away there. Once it was strong enough to that, progressing to then calf raises, keeping all the other things in check, such as your hip, quad, hamstring, plenty of hip hikes, Zacca.
Yeah, my favourite.
They're a favourite to all. It's the people's exercise. But then once I could get through, for me, I set the target of 20 single leg pain-free calf raises. Once I could do that, then I returned to some jog walk, and it was very, very modest. Just a minute jog, minute walk. Might have even been 2 minutes walk on that first one. And I'd set myself the plan of doing 10, and then I thought, who am I kidding? And just cut it at 5. And I think on the one thing I always harp on to all my patients returning to running, you've got to finish your running session wanting more. You shouldn't, especially when you're returning from an injury, you shouldn't get to the end of it and think, oh, I've flown a bit close to the sun here. You should be thinking, my physio's an ass because I'm not doing more and I feel like I could be.
Yeah.
That's a good thing you haven't overloaded. You're building little baby steps will turn into bigger steps and strides over time.
Easy said than done, though, isn't it? It's a challenging thing for runners that are driven. They're used to, when you've been injured 4 weeks, you're like, oh yeah, I can just, I wouldn't pull my run at 8K in a 10K run, and then you're trying to just do 5 minutes running instead of 10. It's a hard thing to, and it's mentally, it's tough when you're injured because you're just thinking, oh, I'm losing fitness. Am I ever going to get back? And it's frustrating. You're seeing people out there running. The worst thing is you're driving and then you see someone running freely and you're just like, oh, just don't even want to see this. Like mentally. And have you been able to use these exercises and the cross training to just go, okay, this is when I would be running, so I'm just going to dial in and do these exercises?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've tried to keep my routine pretty similar. Getting up before the sparrows do in the morning has just been something that I've really enjoyed doing. So I just go to the gym instead and maybe visit the local cafe and have an extra coffee. And I'm lucky enough I can just throw myself into work, open up more treatment slots and just get the mental and physical exertion out that way. But it's just I think keeping the routine of your normal running and just being patient more than anything. Even knowing these things, I probably had a little hiccup 2 weeks ago or New Year's Day. Just went out and it was my first sort of, all right, we'll go out and just run an easy sort of 5Ks. It might have been my second continuous run. I felt really good after running with you, Zacca, that day.
Yeah. And
the mistake I made was not having the K splits visible enough or pace visible enough. So I was run to feel and you get a little bit carried away because you're feeling good. I got through the run fine, but then pulled up pretty horribly that night. So the lesson for me would be just to be really limited in not even my expectations of a run, but my absolute max allowed in a run. So possibly should have paid more attention to, just because aerobically I can do something, doesn't mean the body's ready to go for that.
It's often a really hard thing when people go and get injured and they do a lot of cross training and they come back and they're fit, they're still really fit, but then they try to run with the aerobic capacity, but their body needs to catch up.
And interestingly enough, with it's a lot harder to get your heart rate up on the spin bike and the elliptical, so it's probably included a lot more low aerobic work. And since now that I've joined the Garmin crew, sleeping with that,
finally,
resting heart rate's the lowest it's ever been.
Okay.
So aerobically, I'm probably a lot fitter, doing a lot less intensity of running, which, then Melbourne uni athlete and physio Jimmy Goulis just wrote a
nice.
Wonderful.
He did. I saw that.
On his website today. I had a good read through that about low intensity. He deep dives into much more detail. So jump on the Pollinate Health website and have a read through that.
I'll look at that.
If you want to learn more about that. But it ties in with being patient as well. There's nothing wrong with doing things a little bit easier, especially with the return. So just to sort of summarize that, the plan I would give to patients and tie in with coaches that are working with my patients as their athletes. So early phase, rest and offload. So it might look like a week or two with absolutely no load through, no stretching, just a little bit of light physio, pop some wedges in the shoes to offload the tendon. Then reload, so it's statics into double leg calf raises into single leg, throwing a bit of seated calf raise in the gym. Add some cross training as long as it's pain free. Last thing you want anyone doing is jumping on the spin bike and thinking that they're doing themselves a favor when it's just stirring it up because it's still a bit early. So you might even swim instead. Then once you can walk pain free, get through your ticky calf raises off, then you can walk jog. Then you can jog walk, and that just means you're doing more jogging than walking. Then you'll get into a jog. You increase your volume and time on feet. And sometimes to increase time on feet, it might be all right. You've got a 20-minute steady state jog, and then you do another 20 minutes walk straight after that. Because the time on feet is important to build that endurance, and it's all easy capacity. then you increase your volume, increase your days, and then once you're sort of 2 weeks back, a week or two back, really comfortably running, and you're pulling up well, you're not limping at all, your running style hasn't changed because of soreness, then you can start reintroducing your sessions and your more targeted work depending on what events you've got in the pipeline or goals. And probably if you're going through Achilles pain as an injury, probably the best bit of advice is just be prepared for it to not be smooth sailing. You're going to get good days. You're going to get terrible days. Not every day is great, especially not in the mornings.
Yeah.
But sometimes you can get out of bed and you get that tendon stiffness. It's pretty common with tendinopathy. And you think, oh, I've done it again. I don't know what I've done. It's horrible. The sky is falling. And then, you get to the bathroom and you're like, well, hang on.
I'm back.
I'm back. It doesn't hurt anymore.
No, we're on today.
So it's, even if you do get a little bit of soreness, just stay positive. Mindset can have a big impact on recovery and rehab. The other key point with recovering from not just Achilles pain, but any injuries, communication. Be open and honest with your coach. So for instance, Zacca, my week's been, the week Zacca's playing me this week is, was it Tuesday, Thursday, then backing up Saturday, Sunday. Now, let's say I'd run Tuesday and pulled up pretty average. It's up to me to say to Zacca, look, I'm pretty sore on Thursday still. Let's skip this run and cross train or just have a rest. No one's ever died from resting. Don't quote me on that. I'm sure people have in an abstract way. But
we fact check that later.
But you let one session go and you end up saving yourself a lot of time. Whereas if you try and push through increased pain during your rehab phase, especially with Achilles, you're just dragging it on. It could end up adding a month. If you go out and then you get frustrated and just push that last K a little bit hard and it just gets a little nick in it again, well, you start your time again and it's going to be another 3 weeks before you can run. So patience is key. And sometimes communicating isn't just with the coach. It can sometimes need a whole team. So that's where you're working with your physio, your podiatrist, especially podiatrists are brilliant with Achilles injuries, given that they're foot and ankle specialists. And sometimes you need to go a little bit further. You might need the assistance of a sports doctor who can send you for some more targeted scans or potentially look at some injectable therapies, but they're all very individualized, not appropriate for all. And the science on them is still somewhat lacking, but the risk involved in a few of these therapies is quite low. So it just comes down to a risk rewards and analysis with your health professionals and entire team. But as I said, take that extra week to reload it. Have an extra rest day if in doubt. Say you're normally like me and run in the mornings. If you wake up and you're a little bit iffy, just let the morning run go. If you're really feeling good at the end of the day, have a go of a night time. And sometimes the day changes. Sometimes you just have to give up on the day. Tomorrow's a new day, another chance to have another go. But if you push it through too early, and I've had those moments where I've gone out. I think it was a week and a half ago. Might have been after that park run. Actually, I thought I'll get out and see if I can get out. I reckon I've got 8 steps out of the driveway, and I've just gone, nah. Today's not the day. I'm only going to do myself dramas. I don't think people hang out actually holding their breath for me to post something on Strava enough to justify potentially re-injuring. And you get a little bit shitty and frustrated with it. When I've walked back in my wife Kirby, well, she probably thought I'd gotten some really bad news or something.
Yeah.
Just, no, babe, it's just a bit sore.
Yeah. It feels like it's a long tunnel that you're going. And I battled Achilles tendinopathy for a good few months, 2019-ish, 2018. And yeah, like, I know what it's like when you just, you get up in the morning and you can't walk, or you just think, oh, this is just, I just want to be able to get going again. And you do get to the other side of it. And I think even you've just got to look at some of the world-class athletes, and you will see so many that have gone through Achilles issues and they've come back on the other side of it, and they've gone through the walk jog phase, and they've gone through the yes, some have had to go to surgery, but a lot of them have gone through the same stuff that you're talking about, just general Achilles, and got through it at the time. Yeah, it feels like it's a long way off, but it's like
progressing and ticking boxes is super rewarding.
Mm.
The first time you get out, and even you jog a minute and you just get home, you're buzzing.
Yeah.
I'm back.
Yeah. I was found that when you do these runs early on, and it's so hard not to do it, is that you're almost analyzing every step you run, and you think, oh, is there something there? Oh no, I'm good. And then you kind of almost have to, I've found running with people was good. So I was just jogging, even if it was back when you're doing the 10 minutes or 20 minutes, at least you're there, you're chatting, or you put something on to distract you, because otherwise you just can really overthink everything, and by feel. But yeah, I also found that was a challenge for me. If it was just me and my own thoughts thinking about every step, it was really challenging.
Yeah, you can become a bit hyper aware.
Mm.
And I see it all the time in patients. They'll sit there and they'll literally touch something every 5 minutes to see if it still hurts.
Yeah.
I say, hit your thumb with a hammer, hitting with a hammer again is not gonna help it. So sometimes you just have to leave things alone and just try and forget about them a little bit. Or as you said, the distraction's great.
Mm.
The Better With Running podcast, or
there's a good one. That might make you more angry.
your favorite Justin Bieber album. Anything gets you fired up.
Nice. I like it. Any other points there, Chriso, you've got? Any questions?
No, I think probably
Covered
the only one I'd sort of say, like you mentioned some distractions there, but are there any other tips, mate, that you can give to people who just, as runners, they might not be used to playing the patient game?
Share your experience with people that run. Not many people that run have gotten through unscathed. Everyone's had an injury at some point, and I think being able to relate to someone on that running level really helps it, because it can temper your expectations. Someone else who's had an Achilles strain, or God forbid an Achilles rupture. I try, if I know two people that have got mutual friends, I'll just link them up on Facebook to have a chat about it, or catch up for a coffee and talk about it. We do it a lot with ACLs, where we'll get an early stage ACL patient with someone who's 9 to 10 months down the track, so they can see that there is light at the end of the tunnel. They can share mistakes and common experiences, and it really calms you down, especially being able to see someone who has gotten through the other end.
I can see Physio Life holding some kind of AA type meetings. Achilles.
Anonymous.
I know Josh, Matty Morgan, Tassie guy, he had sacrum issues and some stressy stuff earlier last year. He ended up catching up with one of our Tassie-based coaches, Josh Harris, and Josh had been through similar things, and they were able to sort of have a chat, and he could see what Josh gave him some great tips, and they talked about, the cross training, the return. And yeah, like you say, that kind of, it's invaluable when you can get someone's perspective who's been through it, and can give you a lot of confidence as well.
Yeah. And Strava can be a negative thing, but it can also be a positive thing, where you sort of let yourself be a little bit vulnerable by actually posting how it is. Because then other people might, or you might be going through a similar experience to you've seen someone post about, calf no good, pulled the pin early, saved it, I think we'll reload and retry. or you see what people are actually doing, because a lot of people are quite vain about their recovery, in lack of a better term, where they'll only post their faster stuff when they get back. They don't post a nitty gritty thing. They won't put up the fact that they did 20 minutes on the elliptical and 10 minutes on the spin bike as part of their low aerobic stuff. They won't post that 1 minute on, 1 minute off. But they're just as interesting. And if you're keeping yourself accountable that way, someone will call you out for trying to jump the gun and potentially trying to get greedy with your recovery.
I like it. And then maybe stay off the Let's Run message boards. Or Dr. Google. Maybe don't Google how to fix my Achilles.
Yeah. If you've got a mate who's a streak runner, just delete their number.
Yeah. Nice, mate. We appreciate you jumping on, and that's really informative. As I said, I know we definitely know a lot of our runners out there of obviously maybe going through it at the time or can relate to what's happening out there with their Achilles. Hey, mate, while we got you, we might we're just finishing up the show, and we thought we'd get you to hang around because I know you're a bit of a fan of World Record Chat.
What's my favourite? better than Physio Life, Physio Call.
This one that came across the desk, we were saying earlier, that's how cooked the algorithms are on my social feed, because this just popped up from Runner's World and it's an old story, 2019. The fastest dog / human mile, so a combo, and it was a 2-time Olympian who went sub 4 minutes at the age of 40 with a dog around his waist, running a 3:59 mile.
Who won?
No, so he's basically got a lead strapped to the dog, so the dog's towing him.
Yeah.
And it's 2-time Olympian Anthony Famlighetti. So been on the scene for a while as a steeplechaser. But yeah, it's just ridiculous. There's a YouTube video, and it's not even his dog. It's actually, it was a stunt. So someone owned the guys in, I can't remember where it was. It was somewhere in the Midwest, I reckon. It looks from the video, and North Carolina, sorry. And they came up with the idea as Reckless Running, which own a store, and they wanted basically a promo gig here. So they said to Anthony, "Hey mate, if we give you our dog, can you run a 4-minute mile and put it on YouTube?" And it's only had about 1,000 views or something, so that never really worked. But
carbon plated shoes.
Yeah, this was pre super shoot as well. Done on a bike path.
Oh wow!
And
impressive.
The dog was barefoot too. The dog didn't have any alpha flies or anything like that. He's going all nut trail.
Yeah. It's typically Bailey just goes out 4 to 6 mile runs. So he just got like thrown in the deep end, said go and just belt a mile at 4 minutes. Yeah. So we'll put the challenge out there. If you got a dog, see what you can do over the mile.
Did anyone else see the story? There was a duck that ran some sort of, I can't remember. Ran a really fast time for a duck. They even had little shoes on the duck and everything. I'll do some research for next time.
Did Brady mention this on Inside Running? Because there was a duck reference that came up through the channels of Inside Running. I haven't heard the episode yet, so I was going to ask him. I said, "Is he taking a bit of world record chat and talking about ducks on their show?" But yeah, this is a problem. When I was looking at this in YouTube, it then had all the because you watch this, you should now watch this one, and it was like 10 dogs that could beat Usain Bolt. Like, so I started to watch a few, and then but yeah, some pretty fast dogs out there.
I found the duck story if anyone's interested.
Yeah,
Wrinkles, the duck.
Wrinkles.
They even had a special medal for him. But the first questions that pop up is, did the duck actually run the marathon?
Yeah, wow. What, New York Marathon?
No.
This is saying Wrinkle the duck made headlines for their stellar running debut in New York City Marathon. Yeah. That's
I don't reckon Wrinkle ran the whole thing, but I've seen some footage of the duck, and he's got little red booties.
Yep.
Oh,
He just skips along and did cover a few miles. I'm not sure if he did the whole marathon.
Bit of a clickbait headline they went with, because it's a kids 1K marathon that Wrinkle did.
Yeah.
Oh, I love those 1K marathons.
So here I am hoping for a showdown one day between Wrinkle and Bailey.
Wow. Bailey, yeah. Hopefully Wrinkle doesn't upset Bailey, otherwise that could be the end of Wrinkle. no footage to see here. But I'll tell you what, let's on Anthony though, 40 years old to still knock out a sub 4-minute mile. I think Nick Willis, the Kiwi miler or 1500 meter specialist, he's got a bit of a streak going.
He's got the streak of doing 4-minute mile every year, hasn't he? I mean, Anthony had run like crazy fast, 7:41 for a 3. I think he's run 13:10 for a 5. So
it's sharp.
27:37 for a 10. So
and he had gone 3:35 over 1500 without being assisted by a dog.
Yeah.
So fair to say that he could get the job done. It made it even good range. You'd even run a 63-minute half marathon.
Very solid.
Like,
but we're only talking about him because he's chucked in the dog human mile world record.
No, that's it. I mean, really, he's a nobody without this dog. So, look, Bailey, maybe we can get Bailey on for a chat one day.
Yeah, we'll see. We do a deal with Reckless Running and a bit of a cross promo for them. See if this stunt works for them. Nice one. That was all Canadian Running Magazine. They've gone a bit slack over the holiday period. They didn't have much else on offer. So this was what we got this week.
To be fair though, I mean they were just posting best ofs and top 10 lists and that from the previous year. So clearly the A material is being stored up
waiting for Uncle Chen to do something else.
Well, mate, maybe Uncle Chen's a chance for the golden ticket at Bathurst in the World Cross Country as well. He is the man of the people, and I know people lots of people are tuning in every week to get an Uncle Chen update between Uncle Chen and Kiwi Steve. Seem to manage to swindle a reference for both guys in there at some point. Each and every week.
That's the combo we need. We need those two to go for a run together.
Just quietly, I reckon Uncle Chen would absolutely smoke Kiwi Steve.
Well played. Good stuff. On that note, you got to go prepare for the comedy festival, mate. We'll let you go and leave you to that. But appreciate you jumping on as always, James. And Physio Life, you want to just give us a quick reckless running style plug for Physio Life and your good self and the guys down there?
Yep, you can get down to see us at Physio Life, website physiolife.physio. We even actually have a clinic greyhound that joins us occasionally.
Okay.
She's a retired athlete herself.
What's she run a mile in, do you know?
Well, I reckon she'd still have a fair bit about her, but she's 10 now. She had a seniors career of 60 starts, but she was pretty quick over 400.
Nice.
Maybe we've got a sub 4 dog ready to go.
But back to Achilles pain. If anyone's got any questions about it, or even just wants to reach out, feel free to shoot me an email, james@physiolife.physio, because sometimes just getting a quick question can change your outlook. Is this normal? Because sometimes people will do things and they're actually too embarrassed to ask their treating health practitioner. So if you need a sounding board, feel free to shoot me an email, and sometimes I can just put your mind at ease.
No, lovely work. And also slide into the comments on your Strava, because you're posting it all up there. If people can follow along on, just search up James Telford on Strava, and you'll see the big fella on there, and you'll be able to follow his journey via Strava as well.
Just slow and steady wins the race.
Nice, mate. Well, we'll be back in probably a few weeks' time, and we'll have another topic to chat about. And good luck with the recovery.
Thanks very much, and look forward to being back in tip-top shape next time I'm on. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks, mate.
Cheers. Chriso, I mentioned at the top of the show, round the grounds, we had a bunch of athletes, various parts of Australia and even over to Hong Kong, jumping in some races. Cadbury, did you see some of the chocolate being in some of the post-race photo with the medal? And always gets me, I reckon, when I'm strolling through Strava and you see someone's been in the Cadbury Marathon Festival.
Oh, I love it. I think it's easily the best post-run deal for runners getting around. Like a medal's pretty cool. Some places you might get a shirt or a towel, but no, you can bump all that. Give me a big block of 2.5 glasses of dairy milk goodness for courtesy of the good people at Cadbury. That would be absolutely brilliant. But and it's so distinctive. You just look at it and instantly know what it is too.
I had a couple of my athletes down there, Paul Reason and Matty Morgan. So Matty, as we talked, he's obviously gone through some recovery through an injury through 2022, and been great to see his progress. Like see someone go through the walk jog and the extended rest walk jog, and then into training again, into Ks and hitting sessions, then to toe the line. Bobby wasn't first race back for for ages, so it was more of a let's just get out there and toe the line again, and be grateful that we could pin the bib back on, and rolled an hour 30. And Paul Reason, other Tassie-based athlete of mine, he was out on there, and he actually did it as a pickup run, and he'd been sort of doing some more, I guess. He's been pretty solid, but I guess through the Christmas had some shorter sessions, and then now into rolled that half because he had the entry and actually picked up one of those things where if you do a pickup run and you start easy and you get to run through the field, it's a pretty good feeling. So good run from him. And I think Brady had Briar down there, Cepho, Cepho ran 139. So good to see some people doing the half. Parkrun, there was a bunch of PBs going on there. Albert Park.
Reckon I saw someone, like we've mentioned it a few times throughout last year, mate. One of your athletes, Travis Moore.
Yes, he came out, ran a PB. This was just a bit of he's about to get into a block for Canberra. So this was okay. We've had a nice little block of training. We're fit. We're starting to up the Ks, but let's do a bit of a fitness test over the 5. And we actually didn't really know where we were at, to be honest. Let's just get out and then see what the second half of the race. And just rolled a casual PB as you do, 75 odd second PB. So great run, a park run. He's run quick. He's beaten his track PB as well. So in that run, cracking run from Traverse. Another one of my athletes, Zacca, he knocked out another PB. He had 2 PBs in a row. He just keeps slicing, seconds off. So it's really satisfying to see some athletes that have been chipping away and then getting a chance at park run. We won't go through all of them. There was actually a few of Mads's athletes. She was out there running around on the course. Yeah. Cheering hers cheering some of her athletes around. Sherelle Thompson had a PB, 25 minutes, 13. So it's so cool to see the results. We put it all up on the socials, all the names and the results. So you could jump on and have a look at that. Saturday night, Geelong, there was a Surf Coast Track Club track classic, or the guys down there organised a cracking meet, and a few athletes jumping in the 10K for the first time on the track, or one of them definitely was a debut on the track, which was Jared Caprion, who 37.59. So cracked 38. It was about a 30-second PB, and pretty cool way to start your track 10K career.
Oh, absolutely. Another couple of really cool results. Nathan Stoke finished second that night in 30.10 in the A race, which was a brilliant result. And also Julie Norney ran 19 flat in the 5K as well. So
great result, and pretty hot conditions. They had the sprinkler out, I think. They had the mister
Yeah, very
Yeah.
warm and humid, and had the mister going in lane 1 throughout the night, which I think was a good idea. So, yeah.
Down in Queenscliff, there was a sand 5K. Andy Catchlove ran 17:59 on the sand. So that's a
good
run.
effort.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it was a firm track for Andy, but otherwise, 17:59 on the soft sand. Surely, that's got to be worth about 15 minutes, doesn't it?
Yeah, solid stuff there, and and then it takes us to. There was one other result there. It's been tri relays with Jess Willis, 40:27. Now, there's a bit of a story behind this. So it was part of a relay team, and Maddie has given us some info here. Said she had a pair of new Alphas to race in, so she'd ordered them online, but turns out Nike have changed their shoes from unisex to men's and women's. Did you know that, Chriso?
I have come across this problem before, and learnt the hard way. Much like Jess has, by the sound of it. But
she ended up getting a size 8 women's instead of a 9.5.
Yeah,
and only realizing with 5 minutes to go. So what I reckon's happened is she's taken the kit bag and just gone, got fresh pair. I'll be good to go. I'll do a warm up in the heavies, go back, whack them on. And then you see, hang on, why are these 9.5?
Can only imagine the panic that would have set in at that time.
That is, yeah. So somehow she got put a call out, and someone had a pair of Mizuno same walking shoes. So I think they just and ended up throwing them on. And the team got the win, ran 40 minutes. And really, there was a photo on Australia. It was gold. She was showing off the shoes. And that's talk about when you're in a situation and it's like, what do I do? Just go with the flow, and it worked out. And that's impressive.
Good resilience. I think just being able to, just finding a pair of shoes is an achievement in itself. But just being able to push all that aside and still go out and run a really solid 10K. The team win, which I think also featured a partner, Jake, who's been coached by Mattress before, who's now sort of spending a bit more time doing some triathlon. But for them to be able to do that together and take out the win, that would have been a really awesome feeling, I reckon.
Yeah, and it's definitely caught our eye as the hero of the week. And I think, yes, that was a hero's effort to be able to pull that off. But I think we're more around because we've noticed Jess we've mentioned her around the grounds a few times and seen her on our socials doing some amazing things. So I think it is overdue that she is the hero of the week. And we got some info from Maddie, sent it through and said started in mid-September, run PB, and prior to that, she'd sort of had some issues with COVID. I think as a lot of people had gone through, it was caught a lot of us sort of slow and having to work your way through it, and then got consistent, and Matt's been just stoked with the way she's been able to just knock back-to-back weeks, got so much strength. And then they've probably, Matt identified that, to take things to another level, she needed to get some faster work in. And I think some speed sessions, Matty loves his hill strides and a lot of his very high turnover stuff. And it looks like that's been the avenue they've gone down, and it's made a huge impact to when we're running. Then obviously she's very strong over long distance. Some of those long runs you see pop up on Strava, it's over some serious hills. So pretty impressive block of training, and there were some big results in early December.
Yeah, look, it's good to see Jess get rewarded for all the hard work and effort that she puts in. Like, it's one hell of a balancing act to try and get all the work in, along with the job and the family and all that sort of stuff. So as I mentioned, just to see her get the results for the effort, it's really cool.
I think it was that 25K we mentioned on the podcast where she
Yep. Sneaky
had a
podium.
blinder. On the podium, went through the half in 1:25, like a minute off her PB in a 25K race.
Yeah.
And Matt, they hatched the plan, hold back early and just roll on through. And great running and a great result. And I think, she's setting a really, I know kids and partner Jake so supportive. It's just been a great example of just being healthy, working hard and getting results and getting a lot of enjoyment out of the sport. You see so much happiness in her photos and how they're just enjoying the journey of running.
Yeah, no, that's it. I know she's got a couple of half marathons penciled in for 2023. So it'd be really cool to see how she goes there as well.
Yeah, big things in store for Jess. So yes, you are the hero of the week, Jess. Chriso, we're getting towards the end of the show, mate, and there's something we've got to probably update some of the listeners who've been following the journey of, when we had a China back early. But how many marathons in was she? Oh, geez, I reckon it was only like 6 or 7.
Yeah, there wasn't many. So the adventure had just begun. We're still, feeling fresh in the morning and things were ticking along pretty well. But here we are, I think day 145 today.
Yeah, 145.
145 marathons done, ticked off in the book. Currently getting around regional Victoria, and
it is weird seeing her in Victoria now. And then seeing she's put up a Strava post today. This was this afternoon with the last 5 days. Was it last 5? Maybe it's probably the last 4 days. Anyway, talking about where she's going to be. There's some runs from the Beechworth Bakery going down. So that's out sort of Marinda Dam way. But where she's going to do the Warburton Trail, which I know Soph's mentioned before. It's a cracking spot to do a marathon there. But Monday the 16th is the final leg, and she's posted. It's just weird seeing her post a map with the tan on there. Like we've seen,
we recognise that map.
How crazy. So she's going to end up doing her 150th at the tan. So it's going to be a 1:30 p.m. start from the Pillars of Wisdom Tan track on Monday the 16th. So that means her finishing is sort of projected to finish at 6 p.m. So allowing for people to get there for the Arvo run. Looks like it's going to be a bit of carnival atmosphere down there, Chriso.
Mate, that sounds great. Kicking off at 1:30 and then seeing the sights of Melbourne. I think there might be a lap of Albert Park and sort of in and around.
Albert Park. Faulkner Park. Over to East Melbourne, round MCG. She's actually, that's one of Soph's loops in East Melbourne. That gardens in there. I think it's Treasury Garden. I think it is. Anyway, doing a nice tour of Melbourne and then finishing with, as you do at the back end of a marathon, just 4 laps of the tan.
And that's it. 4 laps of the tan to finish. Scheduled to finish at 6 o'clock and going up Anderson Street.
Yeah, so cool. And then that finish line, I cannot even imagine what that finish like. How are you going to feel going up that Anderson Street hill on the last lap? Knowing
that's kind of the last one, and I'm thinking there's going to be a crowd there too. Sort of willing.
You really almost want, if they have I'm assuming they have a finish line at the Pillars. You almost want everyone just to sort of stop and form a guard of honor or something. Down that last straight. I don't know if you want people running across the line with her. I don't know how much they thought into it, but I think it'd be nice if she just was able to do it on her own and we could just stand by and watch, because it's just an unbelievable feat.
Absolutely, mate. And weather conditions actually looking pretty good for next Monday, all things considered. We've got a top of 31 in Melbourne. No rain forecast at this stage, although in saying that, on Sunday it's going to be a top of 22. So yeah, brace yourself for those that get out on Sunday and then roll off on Monday. But yeah, it's sort of pretty good and reasonable compared to what it could be. So
I think it can't as even just giving up and looking at the weather. She just gets out, gets it done regardless. It's not even going to phase her, is it?
Well, can't control that really. You're just going to get out there and just roll around and tick it off. So look, mate, I'm looking forward. Unfortunately, I can't get there myself. Unfortunately, I've got to work, but looking forward to. I believe you'll be getting down there.
I'll be down there. Yeah. I'll definitely be down, and I can be the man on the ground, and get a chance to see her in the flesh, and then we can chat about it on next week's episode.
Looking forward to hearing all about it. Like I said, I cannot believe it. 150, it's absolutely unreal, and it's actually here the final run. So looking forward to it. I mean, it's been great following the journey on Instagram and seeing the photos and the videos every day, and it's been a privilege just to watch it, and even just being able to catch up sort of every sort of month or so on the podcast has been really cool. But it's here, the world record, and it hasn't just nudged past the world record, it's been obliterated. To take it from 107 to 150 is unreal. So we're very
world
proud.
Record chat. It's a serious world record chat.
Absolutely it is.
Lovely, Chriso. It's been a big episode, and we will be back next week. Hopefully the body's ironed out a little bit with your recovery week, and we can chat all things running again.
Sounds good, mate. Onwards and upwards. Lots of stuff to happen over the next 7 days, so we'll have plenty to chat about next week as well.
We will, mate. Take care.
You too. See ya.